Them belly full, but we hungry. A hungry mob is a hungry mob. Or in a fall, but it's plenty tough. South Africa, subhuman bondage.
Check, check. Microphone check. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Prime Minister will be arriving in just about a minute or two, so at this time I'm kindly asking you to take your seats. I know we have a few seats left right there. In about a minute or two, we will begin the official proceedings. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you were paying attention to the screen. Please stand for the arrival of our Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness. Ladies and gentlemen, the arrival of our Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, and the Most Honorable Mrs. Holness. Ladies and gentlemen, please continue standing for the playing of the national anthem. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate this grand opening this morning, we'd like to invite God into our presence and seek his glory on this success today. So at this time, I'd like to invite Pastor for the Toll Gate Circuit of Baptist Churches, Reverend Gary Knowles, who will open in prayer.
You may be seated. Let us look to God in prayer. Let us pray. God of wisdom, creativity, and design, you created this wonderful world, this wonderful country, Jamaica, and you have sustained it, O Lord, by your power and might. And you would have given us the power to manage as stewards and servants of this country and to be accountable to you. Lord God, as we come to the opening celebration of the South Coast Highway Improvement Project, Maypen to Williamsfield, we thank you, Lord, for your presence that is already here. We thank you for those who would have envisioned, conceptualized, and brought to fruition this project. May you continue, O God, to endow them with your wisdom from on high. We celebrate, O Lord, with stakeholders who, O God, continue to partner with this wonderful country and continue, Lord, to pledge their commitment into making this space, this country, a better one. May we, Almighty God, as we come to use this highway, that we will do so conscientiously, not thinking only of self, but of others. Let us also do that carefully as we monitor our speeds on the road. And let us, O God, be cautious that as we drive from end to end, we will do so with the regard of others in our hearts. And so, God, we ask for your continued guidance here with us in this celebrating period. And may, O Lord, your blessings continue to rest with this wonderful country. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you so much, Reverend Gary Knowles, for blessing us in prayer this morning. The Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, and the Most Honorable Mrs. Holness, the Honorable Everald Warmington, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, other cabinet ministers, members of parliament, custodies of parishes, mayors and councillors, Mr. Andre Nelson, Chairman of the Board of Directors for NROCC, Mr. Stephen Edwards, Managing Director of NROCC, Mr. Hozhuang Zhang, Deputy General Manager of China Harbour Engineering Company Americas, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm your host, Talia Suarez, and I want to officially welcome you to the grand opening of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, Part A, Maypen to Williamsfield. Now, motorists have been eagerly awaiting the opening of the Maypen to Williamsfield leg of Highway 2000, and I know that they are so excited about it. Now, the National Road Operating and Constructing Company Limited, NROCC, which is a government of Jamaica agency, was formed to develop, finance, operate, and maintain the tolled highways in Jamaica. Now, what we should note, and I'm sure our Prime Minister will touch on it a little bit later on, is that the highway is fully owned by the government of Jamaica. I think that deserves a round of applause. Now, to tell us more about this project is the Managing Director of NROCC, so please let us all make him feel welcomed, Mr. Stephen Edwards.
Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, and Mrs. Holness, Most Honorable, the Honorable Everett Warmington, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Honorable Darrell Vaz, Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, the Honorable Dr. Audrey Sewell, Cabinet Secretary, Mrs. Arlene Williams, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Mr. Mikhail Phillips, Opposition Spokesman on Transport and Works, Mr. Huazhang Zhang, Deputy General Manager of China Harbour Engineering Company Limited, Americas, Mr. Andre Nelson, Chairman of the Board of Directors of NROCC, other board members of NROCC, other ministers of government, members of parliament, councillors, and other elected officials, heads of agencies, ladies and gentlemen, all, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a momentous occasion in infrastructure development in Jamaica. It is with immense pride and excitement that I stand before you today as Managing Director of the National Road Operating and Constructing Company Limited, NROCC, to inaugurate this magnificent Maypen to Williamsfield highway. This highway represents not only a significant milestone for our company, but is also a giant leap forward for the parishes of Clarendon and Manchester and the entire nation. As we gather here today, we are witnessing the culmination of years of dedication, hard work, unwavering commitment by the NROCC team, which is an agency in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Ladies and gentlemen, recall that the contract started in 2019. You'd also recall that something else started in 2019, the global COVID-19 pandemic. The projects team has faced a number of challenges in the journey to build this highway. The team has had to maneuver through the global COVID-19 pandemic, major weather events, and global supply chain challenges, just to name a few. And in spite of it all, the NROCC and MEGJC team, led by the Most Honorable Prime Minister, has persevered. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will deliver to you a 23-kilometer four-lane highway with a diamond interchange and Florida T at Maypen, a grade-separated interchange at Tollgate, an interchange at Melrose, 4 bridges to include a 4-lane concrete bridge in Maypen, 17 concrete box crossings, the upgrade of approximately 5 kilometers of roadway along the Melrose Bypass to a 4-lane dual carriageway, a police post at Tollgate, safety fences, concrete medium barriers, fiber optics, and closed-circuit television. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe that we have delivered a modern highway that the people of Jamaica can be proud of. Ladies and gentlemen, before the project started, the projects team took photos and videos of all the surrounding roads in the vicinity of the highway. And after the construction phase is finished, the team will reassess these roads. And this exercise is currently being done. Ladies and gentlemen, the contractor is obligated to fix any damage that is done to local roads as a result of the construction process. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to report that repair works have already been done to Fogo Road, Decoy Road, St. Jago Road, St. Tulis Road, Jamalco Road, Farm Roads, Redberry, Hampton Road, and Trinity Road, just to name a few. And in very short order, we'll also be doing repair works to Denby Road, Content Road, Comfort Road, and Duke Street, amongst others. I should also point out, ladies and gentlemen, that the old Melrose Road and the Woodley Road were also resurfaced during the project. Our team has poured their hearts and souls into making this highway a reality. I want to take this moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to every engineer every construction worker and staff member who has worked tirelessly to bring this project to fruition. Your dedication and expertise have made this dream come true. Ladies and gentlemen, this highway is a testament to what can be achieved when a community comes together in pursuit of a common vision. So as we cut a ribbon and officially open this highway, let us do so with hope, optimism, and a deep sense of pride of what we have accomplished together. Thank you for joining us today for this historic moment, and I look forward to seeing the positive impact that this highway will have on our community and our nation. Thank you, and drive safely.
Thank you so much, Mr. Edwards. A modern highway that the people of Jamaica can depend on. You've been seeing the shots. You drove on it. Is that true? All right, that is true indeed. And of course, NROCC is asking motorists to drive safely, practice defensive driving, and obey the road signs. Now, our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, he currently serves as Shadow Minister for Housing, Transportation, and Works. Please put your hands together as we welcome Mr. Mikhail Phillips to the stage.
Most Honorable Prime Minister and Mrs. Holness, Cabinet members, councillors, colleague members of Parliament, the NROCC team, Mr. Edwards and the NROCC team, special invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good morning. History of Highway 2000, which was a signature project for the new millennium and a catalyst for the Millennium Projects to achieve Vision 2030. Although it was not a project that was originally supported by the then opposition, it is good that the powerful development strategy which it underpins triumphed, and it is now supported by successive governments. We have come a long way from Caymanas to Williamsfield, with significant investment by taxpayers and our bilateral partners. It is now truly a symbol of our Jamaica's commitment to development and the opening of vast new areas for investment, whether in industry, housing, education, or sports. Jamaica's commitment to a highway network must continue in the interest of all Jamaicans. It must take into consideration environmental, land, economic, and other developmental changes. The policy must also be mindful that highways are supported by a network of arterial and minor roads, which connect citizens to the highway. So it must be complement, not substitute. It must be a complement, but not a substitute for the remainder of the network, which must be maintained and kept in a drivable condition for all road users. Hence, I support my colleague MP Lothan Cousin, who is also calling for a balance to be struck, particularly where roads deteriorated during the highway construction. And I'm happy to hear the announcement by Mr. Edwards that they will be taken care of. It is therefore an opportune time to remind the government that continued inadequate annual budgetary support provisions for road maintenance is unsustainable and unworkable as the conditions of our roads, bridges, and drainage systems continue to deteriorate rapidly and is very expensive to fix. The time for considering the implementation of a dedicated road maintenance fund is now. This is the only workable solution to keep the country's infrastructure well maintained and safe. There are many ways to achieve this without going back to taxpayers. With that said, I congratulate all the partners in this impressive highway construction. It will make commuting to central Jamaica much easier. and me getting from Kingston to Northwest Manchester in a shorter space of time. I urge all users to travel safely on it and save a life. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Phillips. Now, our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, played a very integral role in this project. Operating under the motto, building gateways of opportunity, they have helped to bring us smoother and faster journeys along our beautiful southern region. Let's all put our hands together and let's welcome Mr. Hushuang Zhang, Deputy General Manager of China Harbour Engineering Company Americas.
The Most Honorable Prime Minister of Jamaica, representatives from the members of the Parliament, Cabinet Minister, councillors, representatives from the Chinese Embassy, representatives from the Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Managing Director of NROCC, Mr. Stephen, my colleagues from CHEC, and a special invited guest, good morning. Today, we gather to celebrate the opening of the Southern Coast Improvement Highway Part A, a momentous occasion for Jamaica's infrastructure development. I represent China Harbour Engineering Company, and it's an honor to share in the joy of contributing to Jamaica's progress. The Southern Coast Improvement Highway Part A connected Mapeng to Mandeville, symbolized collaboration and determination. CHEC's role in this achievement reflects our commitment to Jamaica's sustainable development through enhanced transportation infrastructures. Infrastructure is crucial for economic growth and social development. Our vision was clear when we embarked on this journey to support Jamaica's progress. Today, as we see this 28 kilometers road completed, we are proud of the life-changing improvements it will bring to the people of the southern coast of this island. This highway promises improvement connectivity, reduced traffic times, and enhanced safety. It will stimulate economic growth, foster trade, and create new opportunities in this region. We have worked diligently to minimize our environmental impact, protect natural habitats, and preserve the ecological balance. Thanks to the NROCC team, crucial in the logistical planning, and the Jamaica's community for their usually warm welcome. We are committed to contributing to Jamaica's ongoing development. We are actively exploring more investment and opportunity to align with Jamaica's vision as a preferred place to live, work, raise families, and conduct business. In conclusion, we are thankful to all involved in this project. Together, we have achieved something remarkable, and the Southern Coast Improvement Highway will be a catalyst for Jamaica's progress and prosperity in the years to come. Thank you.
All righty, thank you so much, Mr. Zhang. Now, we are in a celebratory mood, so it's only fitting that we pause for a little entertainment. So at this time, I'd like to invite students of the Pleasant Valley Infant and Primary School who will be thrilling us with a performance titled Highway Right Way. Please put your hands together for them, ladies and gentlemen, and let's all make them feel welcomed.
Dreadlocks can't live in a tenement yard. Dreadlocks can't live in a tenement yard. Too much too much watchy. Too much too much watchy. Dreadlocks can't live in a tenement yard. Dreadlocks can't live in a tenement yard. Too much too much watchy. Too much too much watchy. Oh, dread, your motor go put in a problem. Oh, dread, your motor go put in a problem. I never asked you nothing where you tell me. I beg your daily to cease and still you keep talking. Ooh, wah, ooh. My granny tell me from a little baby, he that keepeth his mouth shall stay out of problem. Ooh, wah, ooh. Chatty, mouth a massy, mix up. Why you no love people business? I said you love people business. Good God, I tell you about nasty neighbor, nosy neighbor, your place man fix up. Why you no love people business? I said you love people business. Leave people business alone. Leave people business alone. Leave people business alone. Leave people business alone. Leave people business and mind your own. Leave people business alone. Leave people business and mind your own. Leave people business and leave it alone. Hallelujah. But Papa Jesus, Lord have mercy, God. Me not tell enough to tie no donkey on my fence. Me no want no donkey tie on my fence. You know hear where the old man say. Wait, say. You know fi tie no donkey down there. And I saw me say. You know hear where the old man say. Wait, say. You know fi tie no donkey down there. Cause he's a casa jump and pray. Let him pray, let him pray. Cause he's a casa jump and pray. Let him pray, let him pray. All him Joe, and let him go. All him Joe, and let him go. Me donkey want water, all him Joe. Me donkey want whiskey, all him Joe. Me donkey want Pepsi, all him Joe. Make him feel, him long tail, Baba Coco coming down. Jackass with him long tail, Baba Coco coming down. No tease him, no worry him, no make him squeeze him. Jackass with him long tail, Baba Coco coming down. Jackass with him long tail, Baba Coco coming down. My donkey walk, my donkey talk, my donkey eat with a knife and fork. My donkey go, my donkey laugh, my donkey know which one can cut. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Tim bam. Hey, how you know Mr. Jambule? Tim bam. That man from Peasant Valley. Tim bam. Him owe me a dollar bill. Tim bam. Him owe me for something. Tim bam. I never see such a man before. Tim bam. I never trust before. Tim bam. Him jump and him pass back. Tim bam. Throw over him right foot. Tim bam. Throw over him left foot. Tim bam. Him shake him head. Tiki tim bam. Him shake it back. Tiki tim bam. Him shake it waist. Tiki tim bam. Him shake it tail. Tiki tim bam. Tim bam. Say all him Joe, and I let him go. All him Joe, and I let him go. All him Joe, and I let him go. All him Joe, and I let him go.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for the students from Pleasant Valley Infant and Primary School. Now we have some more entertainment coming your way. This time it's from the students of Effortville Primary School. Yes, I heard a year a while ago. So please make some noise and put your hands together for the students from Effortville Primary School, Adama and Andre. A round of applause for them, please.
Sure. I wish you there so long, man. Sorry, me late. What you say we are going to talk about again? No, where we did our work, man. After me not carry paper? Well, we have to go just try. Remember something out of we head. Lord God.
Go from the east to the west, hey. Nobody stress that the highway and make your little car do the rest because the highway are the right way. Right way because the highway are the right way. New opportunities for you and me. Traveling made so easily because the highway are the right way. Right way because the highway are the right way. Turn. On the new highway and no cruise, we are cruise. Jamaica now go put the new road to good use. Build the road and build we nation for our benefit. One more step to prosperity. Connect with people near our far. That are the objective, that are the plan. All thanks to the Ministry of Eco Growth and Job Creation. Expand your business now, whether woman or man. Networking across the island. Go from the east to the west. Hey, nobody says that the highway and make your little car do the rest because the highway are the right way. Right way because the highway are the right way. New opportunities for you and me. Traveling made so easily because the highway are the right way. Right way because the highway are the right way. Road may improve, roads may change, but one thing that will remain is the consistency of the workers from here to the CHEC contractors. The road sweet though, yeah man, me know, but you still have to try to follow the road code. Wait, no speed up. Wait, do me a beg. Wait, no speed up. Do me a beg. Roads may improve, roads may change, but one thing that will remain the same, the consistency of the workers from here to the CHEC contractors. The road sweet though, yeah man, me know, but you still have to try to follow the road code. Nobody speed up, Wait, do me a beg. Do me a beg. The road limit is only a 110 miles. No per meter. No kilometer per hour. You mad? Go from the east to the west. Hey, nobody says that the highway and make your little car do the rest because the highway are the right way. Right way because the highway are the right way. New opportunities for you and me. Traveling made so easily because the highway are the right way. Right way because the highway are the right way.
Didn't they do an amazing job, ladies and gentlemen? A round of applause for Adama and Andre. And I should tell you that the first students from Pleasant Valley, they actually came third in the JCDC Festival competition with that piece. And Effortville Primary School, the highway what? The highway are the right way. They've actually won over 15 medals in JCDC. So we have to give them a hearty congratulations. They've been doing awesome. So now, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, he's been advocating for this project as well and working tirelessly. So let's welcome the Honorable Daryl Vaz, Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, to bring us greetings.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Prime Minister, Mrs. Honis, colleague cabinet members, colleague member of parliament, councillors, permanent secretaries, heads of agencies, and of course, the NROCC team, which includes the Stephen Edwards and the board of NROCC. So first of all, Prime Minister, I want to save the mischief makers from themselves by just holding up the gazette of this highway, which was gazetted yesterday evening at 5 o'clock. So we are in full conformity with the laws and regulations. So today we gather to witness a pivotal juncture in our nation's transportation history as the government, through the National Road Operating and Construction Company, NROCC, opens this much anticipated South Coast Highway Improvement Project, Part A, Maypen to Williamsfield. And I'm hoping that shortly we'll be in the other end of the island in a function similar to this for the St. Thomas Portland part of it. This remarkable highway toll road will undoubtedly reshape this side of the island and its network and elevate our collective journey towards progress. This occasion is also a testament to the dedication in providing safer roads and enhanced connectivity for all Jamaicans. I applaud the Prime Minister as the Minister responsible for the economic growth and job creation, Minister Warmington, the NROCC team, National Works Agency, and of course, China Harbour Engineering Company for the work that has been done and collaborated on this project. It will no doubt transform the lives of many by connecting communities, stimulating economic growth, and providing safer and shorter journeys for travelers. Safety remains at the forefront of our minds from the conception of this project throughout the planning and construction, and especially now as we commission this new highway. It is imperative that we acknowledge the responsibility that comes with these kinds of advancements to ensure that each journey on this and every highway and byway is a safe one. The statistics remind us of the gravity of the issue. Every year, an unacceptable number of lives are impacted by crashes on our roads, main roads, parochial roads, and highways. Families are torn apart, dreams are shattered, futures are forever altered because of these crashes. As of September 12th, 284 lives have been lost to road crashes, resulting from 264 collisions. And let me just pause to pay my personal condolences, and that on behalf of the government, to the police officer who lost his life this morning in a crash, and of course the entire Jamaica Constabulary Force. Very sad. This past weekend, as you probably know, a 3-week-old baby died as a result of a traffic crash in Trelawney. Again, one life too much. This is obviously a tragic loss for the parents, family, and the nation. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are losing too many people on our roads due to crashes. Let us keep safety at the forefront of our minds as we commute daily. As of now, today, we are 16% down year over year in terms of fatalities, but we still want to get under 400 for this year, coming from 488 last year. Therefore, as we see Christmas coming up, we know what season that is and the merriment that goes with it. So again, I'm making an appeal that we take it easy and be mindful of our safety. As we know, we have had an issue and continue to have an issue with stray animals on highways and byways. That is something that we need also to look at. So ladies and gentlemen, the highway is expected to cut the traveling time from Maypen to Williamsfield by approximately 15 minutes if you drive, which I know you will, at the proper speed limit. And that is a big deal because the highway is more than a means of transportation. It is a conduit of connectivity binding towns and cities in a network of opportunity. This is the future of transport for our country. And let me just say, Prime Minister, that while we build out infrastructure and we know that it encourages people to obviously drive faster, we need to be mindful that that is not the objective, but it is more connectivity. So as we build out infrastructure, which is Maypen to Williamsfield, and of course, Harbourview to Albion, we need to provide transportation, public transportation. So I am pleased to announce this morning, Prime Minister, that we are looking at JUTC in relation to expanding their routes to Williamsfield and to Albion in St. Thomas, and also opening up the routes for larger buses, privately owned, that can be licensed so we can take the school children in, and of course commuters easily and more accessible. We have 6 more new buses coming on the 50 that came in October, and another 14 in January. And of course, we are presently trying to work with the Ministry of Finance in terms of refleeting. More will be said on that. But I can tell you that the 50 buses, as was said to me at the Transport Center on Monday morning, was, Minister, the 50 bus come like 100 bus, the way it helped the system. And I was very pleased when I went there physically on Monday to see that there was no waiting, especially in the peak hour. So this is not for transport today, but I thought I would just let you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us be vigilant, not only for our own sakes, but other travelers, and set an example for the generation after us, teaching them the importance of responsible road use. Today is indeed a day of celebration, a day to recognize what we can do and achieve when we all work together in making Jamaica the place to live, work, raise families, and do business. Together we can turn this highway into a model of road safety, excellence, setting a standard for the nation and other regions. It is also a day of renewed commitment to the people of Jamaica in making their lives easier through infrastructure development, and in this case, road development. This project is a testament to what can be achieved when vision, expertise, dedication, and most importantly, good governance and good government. Thank you very much. Enjoy, and we look forward to many more projects such as this around the length and breadth of Jamaica as we build a better Jamaica. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Daryl Vaz. It's so amazing what we can accomplish when we all work together, when we all have the same vision, when we're all on that same road towards success. Now, our next speaker to bring us greetings, ladies and gentlemen, this morning also worked tirelessly on this project. And once an update or clarification was required, he was there to answer the call. Please put your hands together and let's all welcome the Honorable Everald Warmington, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
Most Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Soulness, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is with pride and great pleasure that I stand here today as we gather to mark this momentous occasion, the official opening of the Southern Coastal Improvement Project, Part A, Maypen to Williamsfield. This project is a testament to the unwavering dedication that this government has to the people of Jamaica. I am honored to be here today to share in this historic moment. This new leg of the National Highway Network represents more than just concrete, steel, and asphalt. It signifies development, connectivity, and the promise of a brighter future for all those who traverse the south coast of this country. When we embarked on this journey in 2019 to build this 27.5-kilometer highway, we did so with a vision of its potential positive impact on our communities and our economy. We understood that a well-planned, efficient transportation network is the backbone of any thriving nation. It connects people, fosters economic growth, and enhances the quality of life of all our citizens. This new highway is not just a road, it is a lifeline that will facilitate the movement of goods, services, and people, bringing regions closer together and making travel safer and more convenient. It will reduce commute times, lower transportation costs, and open up new opportunities for businesses to flourish. I take this opportunity to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of NROCC and all the other countless individuals who make this project a reality. Engineers, construction workers, project managers, and so many others who labor tirelessly, often in challenging conditions, to bring this vision to life. Their commitment to excellence is evident in the world-class quality of work we see before us today. I want to express my profound belief in the potential of this new highway to transform our communities and our nation. Let it be a symbol of our resilience, our determination, and unwavering commitment to sustainable national development. Together, we will continue to build a stronger, more connected, and prosperous future for all. Thank you, and may this highway serve as a beacon of hope, opportunity for many generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the Honorable Everald Warmington. Another round of applause, please, for all our speakers thus far. Now we have a little more entertainment for you. So he's going to bring us some melodies and some grooves. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome saxophonist Fred Robertson. One more time for saxophonist Fred Robertson, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I know we all love these grand openings because it signifies growth, mobility, prosperity, and more smooth and efficient roads are, of course, vital to our nation's development. So without further wait, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to welcome our keynote speaker, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Talia, for your mastery of the ceremony. Allow me to acknowledge the Most Honorable Juliet Holness, the Honorable Everard Warmington, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and the man who holds the fort for me whilst I do prime ministerial duties when I'm not able to be directly involved in the work of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Minister Vaz made sure to find his way on the program. And rightfully so, because this is not just about infrastructure, it's also about what the infrastructure will be used for, transportation. And he did a very good job, I thought, of making the link between infrastructure and how we use the infrastructure in transportation. I managed to slip in the buses that I'm sure Mikhail Phillips will be very happy for and cannot find any doom and gloom around, that the buses have made the lives of Jamaicans easier. Let me acknowledge our other cabinet ministers who are here in support. The Honorable Dr. Audrey Sewell, our newly minted cabinet secretary, former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and she had to be here. The project started under her supervision. And let me also acknowledge our newly minted permanent secretary in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Mrs. Arlene Williams. Allow me to acknowledge the Honorable William Shaguri, Custos Rotolorum for the parish of Clarendon, His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Winston Maraj, Chairman of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, and all the other councillors and councillor caretakers who are here. Allow me to acknowledge Mr. Andre Nelson, Chairman of the Board of Directors, and other members of NROCC who are here, who have worked very hard in ensuring that the project comes off, the project was well done. And again, I think we should say thanks to Mr. Stephen Edwards, who took over the project closer to the end, carried it through, made sure the project was well done. Mr. Hao Zhangjiang, Deputy General Manager of China Harbour Engineering Company, America's division. I want to say thanks to our China Harbour partners who have worked very hard and very well in ensuring that the highway is completed up to standard and within the budget approved. Let me acknowledge other executive heads of agencies and members of the private sector who are here, other stakeholders, members of the project team, representatives of the media. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a good morning for Jamaica. I am delighted to be with you this morning to officially open the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, Maypen to Williamsfield leg. I know that those of you who commute back and forth regularly between Kingston and Mandeville are particularly pleased that the highway is finally completed and open today. the government of Jamaica contracted China Harbour Engineering Company Limited for Part A, this part, of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, and we have called Part A the section from Maypen to Williamsfield. We negotiated a design and build contract with an original contract sum of $188 million US. However, due to expansion of scope of works, I know some people are going to take that and say overruns. That's not the case. Right? Mikhail? I have to be very clear, because these days there are those persons who deliberately take what you say and twist it and try to contort it into things that are not true. So let me say it again. However, due to the expansion of the scope of works, which happens naturally when you undertake these projects, stakeholders come to you and say, no, do this, add on this, change it this way. So what we plan is usually expanded because we are trying to accommodate our stakeholders. So we ended up creating a modern interchange to replace the roundabout that was there. We ended up having to relocate more utilities, and we have done some other changes, which included fixing up some roads that would have been disturbed, and even roads that were not disturbed. But we had to use it to ease traffic flow. So those things caused what we had originally scoped to be larger. It's not overrun. It's just an increase in the project scope. So we got more things for the value of the money that we spent. It is a pity that I have to go into these details to explain these things. It's a real pity. The project was funded by a loan from the government of China. And as I've said, the contractor is a Chinese company, China Harbour Engineering. I want to take this opportunity to dispel a quite unfortunate perception that is carried by some with interest, that somehow Jamaica is being overrun by Chinese interests. It may shock you to know that even with this loan from China, Jamaica's debt to China is approximately 4.5% of our total debt. Yes, what we owe to China is minuscule relative to what we owe to the rest of the world and international agencies. So unlike those who would want to create a false impression about Jamaica and our international development relationship with China, it is false. Jamaica has taken a strategic approach to develop its infrastructure, and we partner with those who want to help us, and we are willing to partner with all countries in the world that come genuinely to assist our development. And we are ensuring that when we partner with these countries, Jamaica gets the benefit. There is no Jamaican who can say that this road is not beneficial to them. Again, a pity that I have to address these falsehoods that people are vested in creating. But the only way to deal with falsehood is to tell the truth about them. Shed light on them. Ladies and gentlemen, in the past, traveling between Maypen and Mandeville, you would experience great challenges. I'm sure all of you here would have unpleasant recollections of being stuck behind a slow-moving truck on the porous road, or even worse, a disabled truck. Well, those days are gone. Minister Vaz had said that the travel time would be cut by 15 minutes. That's not accurate, Minister Vaz. It will now take you 15 minutes. Yes, that is now the travel time. So from you come off that last exit there to get into Mandeville Town, 15 minutes. What that is doing, when we say we are connecting Jamaica, we are making Jamaica a smaller place in terms of the time to travel. So you could potentially now, realistically, have your residence in Mandeville and work in Kingston if you choose. Many people do. Travel time is still a consideration. But no, the distance is getting shorter. So your options are getting greater. That's what the infrastructure here does. In addition, in the past, if there was a significant weather event, the Rio Minho River would overflow at times, even up to the deck of the old bridge that was there. We have now constructed a new bridge across the Rio Minho River, which is a massive 4-lane concrete bridge, which is higher and wider than the old bridge. So we expect that, for that bridge to be affected by a weather event, it would have to be a 1 in a 100-year event. Also, the scope of works included the provision of 8 fiber optic conduits to facilitate telecommunication and high-speed data. This contrasts with what was included in previous packages, which were only 1 or 2 conduits. This is an important feature, as it highlights your government's commitment to eliminate the digital divide. I want to just point out here very quickly, whenever we talk about crime, there are those who come up with the bright discovery, why don't we have cameras all around Jamaica? Why don't we just put up cameras? Before you can put up cameras, you need to have laid significant mileage of fiber optic cables. When we have taken the decision to build roads, you see asphalt as the end of that decision. But I want you to pay close attention to what is underneath the asphalt. When we build roads, we put in water mains that are not just designed to treat with the population that exists now, but we are planning for populations to come. So we are investing in significantly large water mains and not using old materials. We are using materials that will last hundreds of years. We are putting in fiber optic cables. We are putting in other sensors in the roads. Where necessary and possible, we put in sewage. But if you look at the roads that we are building today, you will see massive civil infrastructure investment. If you look at the size of the culverts and drains that are there to control water and soil slippage, massive investments. These roads will last your lifetime and your children's lifetime and their children's lifetime and their children's lifetime. We build infrastructure to provide for the growth and development of our country. The project engaged 48 engineers, of which 18 are Jamaicans. That tells a story. And I want you to appreciate this point. It is not that the project is structured to employ non-Jamaican engineers. If we had them, we would employ them. we do not have enough engineers. So whilst I hear all kinds of other discussions going on, the government that you have given this job is paying serious attention to improving the things that really matter and can make a difference to our lives. And that is to improve our education system. Not in the traditional way that you understand education, but our education must move to STEM. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It is an imperative if Jamaica's infrastructure development is to continue and be indigenously driven by local talents and skills. It is an imperative. In total, 754 workers were employed on the project. 603 are Jamaicans. 754 workers were employed on the project, on a Chinese-funded project. 603 are Jamaicans. Again, to dispel this quite unfortunate and narrow-minded perspective of countries and their development partnerships. We are not engaged in an exploitative or abusive relationship, development partnership with our Chinese counterparts. It is a mutually beneficial and respectful relationship. The project has now achieved practical completion and has entered the 2-year defects liabilities phase. During this phase, the contractor will have to fix any project-related defects. Let me repeat that. We're not just building the road, and then when the contractor leaves, that's the end of it. There is a 2-year defect liability period where China Harbour Engineering Company will be responsible for any construction-related, design-related defects on the infrastructure. I would clap for that. That's very important. So this is not like projects in the past. Infrastructure is the foundation of any economy. It includes the physical structures and systems, our roads, highways, bridges, our water and sewage network, our electricity network, our telecommunications network, our hospitals, and yes, our schools and irrigation for our farms. All of that is infrastructure. Good infrastructure enables trade, drives businesses, it connects workers to their jobs and creates opportunities. Without good infrastructure, it is difficult to attract investment, create jobs, or grow the economy. But when we talk about infrastructure, a family who is struggling to go back to school at this point, a family who is struggling to provide food for their household, a family who is struggling from violence in their community, this development of this new road may pale in importance, as it is difficult for them to immediately make the connection between this road and their current circumstances. It leads to great frustration, which leads to a dissonance, a difference in perspective between what that household who is suffering from a particular pain point versus what the government is spending on. But I want to make today a connection that this road, as distant as it may seem from your problem, is a step in improving the general quality of life for all Jamaicans, a step in improving the productivity of all Jamaicans, and you can easily measure the productivity gain of this road by the productivity loss in traffic, discomfort, and the aggression it creates in driving on some of the other bad roads. It connects not only workers to jobs, because that household now has the opportunity to genuinely consider a job in somewhere out of their community, but it also improves the response time of our security forces. It improves the delivery and lowers the cost of delivery of our agricultural output to market. In so many ways, building your infrastructure improves well-being. And I could go on and on. Easier to get to the hospital. You know, I was touring North Clarendon recently. And the residents there were complaining about a particular road. I believe it's the Morgan Pass Road. And when they were explaining to me the importance of the road, one of the examples they use is that there have been cases where persons have died on their way to the hospital trying to negotiate the road. Not from an accident, as Minister Vaz was pointing out, but how difficult it was. It increased the wait time. They just were not able to get to the hospital in an emergency. Infrastructure improves all of that. So I don't want our citizens who at this point are particularly frustrated to undervalue and dismiss the importance of what we are doing here today. It may not seem immediately connected, but it is. It is. From 2016, when my administration took office, I articulated a clear vision with an aspiration for Jamaica's development in terms of economic growth and job creation. At that time, economic growth and job creation was a dream. I can say that without fear of contest. There was no economic growth and there was no job creation. In fact, many Jamaicans thought it could not happen and questioned the wisdom of putting together all the agencies that are responsible for economic growth and job creation. What do we have today? We have economic growth and we have job creation. There are those who find it hard to accept that things are changing because they have been so vested in a negative outlook. We can only confront them with the facts. I am not here saying to you that everything is glorious, but everything is not bad in Jamaica. There is a lot of good going on in Jamaica. We must accentuate the positive things that are happening in our country. In spite of the worst global health disaster in 100 years, which precipitated economic collapse around the world, Jamaica's economy stood well and recovered even better than before. We have experienced, all who would not like it, you have to listen to it. We have experienced 9 consecutive quarters of economic growth since the pandemic. 9! Prior to the pandemic, we had 19 consecutive quarters of economic growth. Our net international reserves now stand at $4.4 billion as of August 31st, 2023, the highest in our history. When we change our economic policy to a flexible, free-floating exchange rate, highly criticized, the dollar is stable. We don't get any credit for that, you know. Listen, for the first time in a long time, we can report increase in export earnings, 55% for the first quarter of 2023 calendar year in comparison to the corresponding year. We haven't seen that statistic in a long while. Jamaica continues to pay down its debt. We are now 78%, moving from as high as 150 by some measure. By the end of this fiscal year, we will probably be at 74% debt to GDP ratio. And importantly, we have an historically low unemployment rate of 4.5%. These are the facts. And, you know, there are those who are going to say, look at him being so arrogant in telling all these things. You know what I have discovered? When you are quiet and you don't tell people what you do, they are easily distracted by loud symbols in the market who are not getting anything sold or bought. They are just making up noise. It can be incredibly frustrating for those who keep their shoulders to the wheel, who keep their eyes on the task, who focus on what really matters to the people, what is really in the public's interest, to see those whose only interest is power, to just talk and talk and talk, but when they had the power, they have no show of delivery, of output, of results, nothing to show. At the end of this term, this government will build more roads. We would have repaired more miles of roads and built more miles of new roads than any other government in modern Jamaica. Something that we are currently doing or some result that we are announcing. That's what I do as Prime Minister. I will try to make you feel good, but my job is also to bring you into my confidence and tell you what the reality is. And I do that because I respect you. More on that. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't argue with the facts. And sometimes hard-believing people, because they are vested in seeing things one way and, you know, take pleasure in despair. Sometimes you have to point out to them that it's not me say so. Standard & Poor's says so. Just yesterday, Standard & Poor's, a leading rating agency that looks at the overall economic performance of government and tells the international market where an economy is in its state of development and how safe it is to invest. Standard & Poor's upgraded Jamaica's long-term sovereign credit rating from B+ to BB-. Jamaica is now just 3 notches below investment grade. Achieving an investment grade rating will be a game changer for Jamaica and investors' perception of the riskiness of doing business in Jamaica. And again, faith in my constituency, who, when it rains, her house is leaking. This don't mean nothing to her. But I want to say to you, Faith, that your house is leaking because your economy was not operating well enough when you were going to school to have provided you with the best quality education, that when you graduated with a skill, the economy provided a job that could give you an income, that could make you independent. And where would that job come from? Yes, we will have jobs locally in the community. A little man will set up a hardware, another will set up a daycare service and a garage and so forth. And that's the foundation of an economy. But we need large investments as well. Whether it is in hotel, in manufacturing, in logistics, that will bring mass employment and bring mass income to communities. And to get that, the people who are going to put down the hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, they need to be sure that when they put $100 million into Jamaica, for the long term, taxes will be stable. And we have demonstrated that now for the last 7 budgets. Stable taxes, no new taxes. Foreign exchange will be stable. We have demonstrated that. The government fiscal management will be stable. And therefore, when they come to rate Jamaica as a place for investment to come, so that Faith's child, when they graduate, will have a higher guarantee of a job than Faith, that will break the intergenerational poverty, so that Faith's child can grow up with income, fix Faith's house, and buy her own house in the future. That is what this rating by Standard & Poor's mean. You may not see the connection right away, but Faith, I say to you, keep faith. Keep faith. You know, of course, we would all like to have a better paying job. And that's what the government is working towards now. Upskilling our labor force. You know, in 2016, the labor force was 1,168,000. In 2023, the labor force is now 1,312,600. We have added 144,200 new jobs into the labor force. That's more income for more households. And as I talk about that, we have a good thing going with employment, but we now have a new challenge, a new problem. We cannot find skilled workers. Now, there are persons in the economy who are unemployed, and there are persons in the economy who are looking for jobs and can't find jobs. You will always have that in any economy. It's called either frictional unemployment or structural unemployment. You'll always have a residue of that. But we are now technically at full employment. It doesn't mean that there are not persons who could be in the labor force. some persons in Jamaica don't want to be in the labor force or can't be in the labor force. And what the government is trying to do now is to encourage those persons who say, boy, I don't have a skill, it's too late for me to go to school, I'll just stay in my community and try and bounce around. We need you. We literally need you to continue the economic growth of the country. If people come to invest because all the financial and fiscal signs say, yes, come and invest, and then when they come and put down the factory, they can't find workers. When they come and build the hotel, they can't find workers. That will affect the economic growth. So literally, the government now must reach into the pool of young, unattached persons and bring them into the labor force, which is why we have made all the courses at heart free. And I use this opportunity to encourage, and I ask you as well, to encourage all those persons that you know who are not actively seeking work or prefer to be on the street corner, to say to them, look man, now is the time to get a skill. The pay at the start of it might not be what you want. But as the economy grows, so too will the wages adjust. So I'm saying now, Jamaica is in a totally different place than it was 10 years ago. We now have economic growth, which is creating jobs. But we need to provide more employment to keep the economic growth going to create more jobs. We will now say we have the virtuous cycle of development. Now, our infrastructure program does not stop here. I want you to look out for the extension of the Williamsfield to Manchester, that's the Williamsfield in Manchester, to Hodges in St. Elizabeth Highway. I want you to look out for it. The ultimate plan is to extend the East-West Highway to the Grill. Yes. And this highway will bypass the now spur tree, which is such a treacherous road. And it will be a 4-lane highway with international standards for driving and safety. We have started planning this. As you can see, it is usually about 5 years from plan to cutting the ribbon. I'm going to try and short that period as much as we can. Because as we build more infrastructure, especially taking on these large infrastructure, we are also building the management capacity for these infrastructure. So I'm not expecting that it will take 5 years, but I want you to also appreciate that it is not just putting the tractor on the road and the excavator to tear down the hillside. No, a lot of work has to go in place. We have to do the environmental, we have to do the regulatory, we have to do the administrative, we have to do the procurement, we have to do the public investment assessment, just to ensure that every dollar that is allocated to the project is actually on the project. Then we have the Montego Bay Perimeter Road. That has already started. And that is going to ease the traffic in Montego Bay and adds speed and comfort to the traveling public in that area. We have the Caymanas Highway interchange. Now you have the East-West Highway and you have the North-South, but you have to come off of one, go through a circuitous route to get on the other. Now there will be an interchange. This one, I'm sure the people who live in St. Anne will be appreciative of it. we are going to be doing the North Coast Highway. We are planning to extend the North-South Highway by another 30 kilometers to end near Trelawney. And we have started negotiations on that, and that will ease significantly the traffic flow in that area. In a few weeks' time, I will be opening the South Coast Highway Improvement Project Part B. Yes, the eastern section, the Harbour View to Port Antonio section. And the people in that side of the island, they have endured. And I want to say to them, I thank you for your patience and your pardon of the progress that we are making in your area. Yesterday, I got a frantic call from a member of parliament in Westmoreland saying that taximen were blocking the roads in Westmoreland due to poor road conditions. I wasn't aware of it before, but when he called me, I went on my Google search because I wanted to see a report about demonstrations for roads in that end of the island. And when I typed in demonstrations for roads, roadblocks, the number of hits, meaning the number of finds that the search engine returned, numerous. But if you were to add all the demonstrations that have taken place since 2016 and then compare them to the demonstrations and protests that took place starting from, let's go back as far as, 8 years before. But if you were to go back to, 1993, the rate of demonstrations was far higher than it is today. And the number of demonstrations, much more. Indeed, it has almost become the want of our population to protest about the condition of local roads. It is a means of drawing attention of the government to the challenge. But what has changed? Yes, there have always been demonstrations, almost a part of the Jamaican political culture, over roads. But let me just say here that the demonstrations now is not a wise thing to do. You, as a democratic country, you have the right to protest and draw the attention of your political representatives to the problem. You have that right. But it is not in your interest to destroy the road while doing so. It is not in your interest to prevent the economic activities of yourself and others by blocking the road. And I dare say what has changed now is, one, it is not necessary to block the road, because this administration has a comprehensive plan to rehabilitate local roads. And secondly, when people used to block roads almost routinely 20, 30 years ago to draw attention, the government was not in a position to respond. And indeed, the government rarely responded because they just didn't have any budget. The economy did not provide the wherewithal to respond to protests regarding roads. Now, the government can put in place a long-term plan to rehabilitate roads, which is why last year in Parliament we announced the Spark program, a massive program. The issue now is not so much the resources to get the roads done. The issue now is one of time and efficient administration of the process. So yes, there are roads there to be repaired. We will get to them. But you, the public, have also asked that there must be an integrous process of carrying out capital works. Because there is a view that where you have large capital projects, the potential for corruption is high. And therefore, this administration, regardless of what anyone wants to say, we have put in place all the bureaucratic systems to ensure that every dollar that was allocated by the Parliament for this road is right here on this road and nowhere else. Likewise, what we allocate to repair all the local roads, it is on the local road and nowhere else. It does take time. So when I toured Southwest Clarendon and I was confronted by some youngsters who said that the road has never been repaired in their lifetime. They were about 30 to 35 years old. And they were correct. The roads were never repaired. So I said to them, why is it you think the road was never repaired? And of course, their perspective is that it's a country road, the government don't care, all the other issues. And I said to them, have you ever considered that in your lifetime, you never had a stable economy? Your national debt was high. You would have had to borrow to repair those roads. And you never had the budget to do it. But yet, you voted for governments that could not fix the economic problems. Yet, you voted for governments that created economic problems. I could see their minds open. This is a different Jamaica with a different government. We believe in solving the economic engine, and then we use the dividends from that to finance the development of the rest of the economy, which is what we are doing. We are in that phase now. So yes, I understand the impatience, I understand the frustration, but I confront you today with some facts that you have to consider. You may not know, as it relates to local roads, but we announced the previous budget a special CapEx program where we have targeted several major thoroughfares in Portmore and in Kingston, high density areas and high traffic volume areas. And those are underway. You may not know as well that the government has put in place massive resources in building infrastructure in agriculture. The Minister of Agriculture is here, he's nodding, and he will tell you that we have spent billions of dollars in the Southern Plain Agricultural Development Project. That is bringing infrastructure to agriculture, infrastructure to the farmers, infrastructure to make agriculture grow and reduce the cost of agricultural output. We have the Essex Valley irrigation infrastructure development project, billions of dollars there as well, which is going to expand agriculture, making that connection between infrastructure and the people. So I make the point that while we are building these big roads, we hear the complaints about the by roads and the local roads, and we have now put in place a plan to address them. You will see it roll out shortly, but it will be efficient, and nobody can have any finger to point on these projects about corruption or inefficiency. In the same way that nobody can have any finger to point on this project about corruption or inefficiency. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to officially open the Maypen to Williamsfield Highway. I am told that the various processes and negotiations with the toll operator are underway and that all should be in place to commence tolling by the end of November. However, the government has taken the decision to start tolling on December 31st, 2023. Users will be able to drive on the Maypen to Williamsfield leg of the highway without charge until the end of this calendar year. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to declare open the Williamsfield, the Maypen to Williamsfield leg of Highway 2000. God bless you and thank you.
Keep the applause going, ladies and gentlemen. One more time for Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness. Can I hear some more noise for no toll until the end of the year, please? Thank you. Lots of development there. And we're looking forward to see how the roads will look in just a few years right here in Jamaica. Thank you so much, Prime Minister. Now we're almost ready to hit the road, ladies and gentlemen, but we have to hear from another individual who was very important to this project. He helped to see the project through. So at this time, let's hear it from the chairman of the board of directors for NROCC, Mr. Andre Nelson.
Well, my paper is saying morning, but it's afternoon. So good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. Master of Ceremony, Italia, thank you for that. The Most Honorable Andrew Holness, ONPCMP, Prime Minister. The Most Honorable Mrs. Holness. The Honorable Minister Everard Warmington, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. The Honorable Daryl Vaz, Minister of Science, Energy, Technology and Transport. Honorable Dr. Audrey Sewell, Cabinet Secretary. The Board of Directors for NROCC. All other distinguished guests, good afternoon. First, I would like to thank everyone for being here. I'm the chairman of NROCC. It's my honor and privilege now to give a vote of thanks to all who played a role in not only the beautiful event we are attending, but all those who played a key role in the development of this highway project. We will not be here today without the hard work of the Economic Growth and Job Creation Ministry team, and of course, the NROCC, who not only organized the function, but were the implementing agency for the highway project. Stephen worked tirelessly behind the scenes as MD, and he's here today, and I want to give him a special big up. I would like to thank the newly appointed Cabinet Secretary, Mrs. Audrey Sewell, previously our permanent secretary, who I call every week bothering. She's like an engineer, right? She helped to engineer this project. And of course, congratulations on your recent promotion. And of course, we welcome Mrs. Arlene Williams, who is now our permanent secretary for MECJC. Special thanks to the over 600 hard-working local laborers who worked on the project. China Harbour Engineering Company, Team Development Bank of Jamaica, Team Stanley Consultants Jamaica, Team Trans Jamaica Highway, the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, the Manchester Municipal Corporation, Custos of Clarendon, NWA, I saw some of you here, the JCF, National Land Agency, Jamaica Public Service, National Water Commission, National Irrigation Commission, Toll Authority. And of course, I must thank the vendors, the yam vendors, who they were significantly impacted, but they worked very closely with us right throughout this process. Special thanks to the schools who did their performance today. And I can remember from that performance, the highway is the right way. Glenmuir High School as well, who helped with some parking. The saxophonists, and I must say the PM, the disabled truck issue these days are gone. I want to give a special thanks to the communities, surrounding communities. Woodley, not sure if anyone of you here, Four Parts, Osborne Store, Tollgate, Reeveswood, Redberry, Melrose Hill, Trinity, Porus, Williamsfield, and of course all other communities in the vicinity of the highway. One last time, I'd like to express my appreciation to everyone who worked on this event and to all the councillors, members of parliament and key stakeholders who held hands during this task of extension of the Southern Coastal Highway from Maypen to Williamsfield. And all other stakeholders who didn't hear their name, we thank you. Last and most, we're not going to say last but not least, last and most, I have to big up the strong leadership of the country who throughout the pandemic held it tight, held it right. Despite the dark, gloomy pandemic days, we saw beams of light breaking through with measures that allowed business continuity. The measures put in place helped to reverse the initial insecurities and helped to minimize disruption in the construction activities. With a number of pandemic waves and recrafted mitigative measures and improved health infrastructure, our leader insisted that we as a country kept our focus on what we can do to build world-class highway infrastructure. Through his guidance and support, we are very proud of what NROCC's Board of Directors, MD and hardworking employees have achieved collectively and individually. Our Prime Minister and Minister Warmington, thank you. Thank you for your vision of building a brighter future, building a greater and more prosperous Jamaica. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Andre Nelson, Chairman of the Board of Directors for NROCC there, ladies and gentlemen. So we thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. But of course, even though this aspect of our agenda is through, it's now time for the ribbon cutting. So at this time, I'd like to ask the members of the media, please to make your way to my right. We have buses who will be taking you to our location, which is right by the new Milk River Bridge. So members of the media, I'm asking you to immediately just line up right by my right, or I should say by my right. I know that on screen now you are seeing an aerial view of the highway, but we will be streaming the ribbon cutting live. So please be sure to sit tight. We do have refreshments as well. And of course, I'm also asking the Most Honorable Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Mrs. Holness, and the Honorable Everald Warmington, the Honorable Darrell Vaz, Managing Director Mr. Stephen Edwards, Mikhail Phillips, Opposition Spokesman, members of Parliament whose constituencies the highway alignment passes through. We're also asking you to join us for the ribbon cutting as well. We do have shuttle buses taking you to the location, so please make your way to the right as well. Member of Parliament Leicester Mike Henry, Minister Pernell Charles Jr., MP Robert Chin, Rhoda Crawford, MP as well, Cabinet Secretary Audrey Sewell, Permanent Secretary Arlene Williams, representatives from the China Harbour Engineering Company as well, and of course our chairman who we just heard from, Mr. Andre Nelson. We're kindly asking you to make your way to my right, which is to your left. We have buses that will be taking you to our designated ribbon cutting area. And of course, we will be getting ready for the next aspect of our agenda. But ladies and gentlemen, as I did mention, on screen right now, you're seeing an aerial view, but we will be streaming the live. Of course, we will be streaming it live, the ribbon cutting. So please feel free to sit tight and enjoy the rest of the afternoon here with us. So please, ladies and gentlemen, make your way to my right. We have some buses waiting to take you to the new Milk River Bridge where we'll be doing the ribbon cutting. And of course, ladies and gentlemen who will be remaining here, please sit tight and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. My name is Talia Suarez. I'll see you in a little bit as we'll be cutting the ribbon right by the new Milk River Bridge.
Are you alone there, yeah? Sorry. Cool, thank you very much.
Wow. Yeah, right, that's all.
No, but mine is worse. Oh, you have the jelly beans? Sorry. This is cheese and stuff. Milk.
We know so old, man.
Jelly beans. We
Yeah.
call it jelly beans.
We know so old.
Oh, wow. Cheese butter? Which one? No, cheese butter. Yeah?
Who's that go out?
Get that tan, right? Get that tan. Sure, I already have one. Shabon. Come here, there's it's too wide, we're not going to get there.
You know, you just a walk inside. No, you can't listen to that. Kimberly.
Sorry, excuse me. Sorry.
Wait, I'm so sorry. I'm
Rich. Kimberly.
Yeah, black fear. Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, I'm not fear and still Kimberly.
Rich.
Rich.
Rich, come.
Richie. Quick. Richie, come. Richie. Come here. Come here.
No.
Good.
Look.
Everybody good?
Don't put your hand.
Say that white here.
You're good, Senator.
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, good.
Yeah.
Sir.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
China Harbour. We're waiting on China Harbour. Oh, see here. Watch yourself, guys.
Hey, wouldn't need in that case.
Permanent.
Huh?
This
is a phone. Where you want to go? You want to go right there? Listen, just relax then.
This is for the upper cutting. Oh, for the up.
All right, good. All right, now we're going to have one with the Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation. So that's the Minister of Water and Permanent Secretary. The Deputy Chairman of NROCC.
Rich.
Pull back into that.
So why we stop and I put that up there?
Then after you leave now.
Alright, so we're going to ask the MPs to join in. This is ONS.
Listen, you know why?
People come up so good.
Yeah.
Everybody ready? You know my phone is ambulance. Alright, 1,